All right, let's jump straight into this. Welcome to this explainer, where we're going to take a pretty steep descent into a grim Gothic fable, a place where diplomacy dies and raw absolute power takes over. We are stepping right into the rotting, mythic universe of Richard Wagner's Götterdämmerung. Now, to be clear, this isn't your standard, upbeat, mythological overview. Today, we're immersing ourselves in a dark, visceral world to explore the raw, linguistic power of the storm god Donar. We'll look at how the very words used to tell his story actually act as physical blows against a decaying reality. So it's about sound, it's about fury, and ultimately it's about the twilight of the gods. Just listen to this opening verse. I mean, you can practically hear the storm brewing. Deafening darkness drives through the sky. Weeping and wailing wither the gods. Do you feel how heavy that is? Those crashing D sounds and that mournful, almost dragging W pulling you downward. This is the prelude to our story. Donar is standing on this desolate, rocky precipice overlooking a decaying world with mist and sulfur rolling through the cracks. He isn't just speaking here, he is actively summoning the apocalypse.
Because the world we're looking at is literally choked in silent decay. Way down below the jagged mountain peaks, the great ash tree, Yggdrasil, isn't being violently cut down, it's just withering, slowly, from its poisoned roots up. And the once glorious architecture of Valhalla, it's basically a rotting carcass. Twisted towers are cracking, its silent stones are suffocating in this thick, sulfurous mist, completely stained by the creeping, slow venom of the Nibelung dwarfs. It's an atmosphere of absolute, agonizing suffocation.
So you might be wondering, how do you even write a story that actually sounds like the end of the world? Well, you use this technique right here, Stabreim. Wagner explicitly rejected those traditional, neat end rhymes, the standard ABB structure, because he felt they were just way too artificial, too pretty for a world that's falling apart. Instead, Stabreim relies on short, punchy lines linked by heavily stressed starting consonants. So to really understand Donar, we have to understand Stabreim, because this literary device acts as his actual linguistic hammer.
And this technique brilliantly sets up the central conflict of our fable. On one side, we have Wotan, who you might know better as the Norse Odin. He relies on diplomacy, treaties, and runes carved right into his spear to maintain cosmic balance. But his laws have basically led to this silent decay. And then on the other side, we have Donar. Now, Donar is the traditional High German variant of Thor. But scratch whatever you know about the heroic Thor from pop culture. This Donar is a grim figure of pure elemental force. He absolutely loathes political compromises. He doesn't want diplomacy. He wants lightning, cleansing strikes, and a kingly crash. It's a bitter war between failing law and raw nature. Picture Donar pacing these rotting halls, looking down at the slow venom Wotan let loose upon the earth, and he delivers the rotting root parable. He says, "Rotting the root, rank is the rain. Gold greed and guilt gather in gloom. Vultures are veering, Valhalla is void." It is just this incredible statement of absolute disgust. Donar is pointing out that Wotan's gold lust has completely hollowed out the universe from the inside out. Let's actually break down the mechanics of what we just heard, because the Stabreim isn't just poetry, it's practically sound design. Those hard R sounds, rotting, root, rank, rain, they actually mimic the grating, physical rotting of the great ash tree. And then you have those heavy G consonants, gold greed, guilt, gather, gloom. They physically hammer the inescapable weight of that sin directly into your ears. The sounds are perfectly mirroring the suffocating atmosphere of this dying world. And as if the internal rot wasn't bad enough, the external threats are closing in too. The cold winds of Fimbulwinter, that's the great world-ending winter, are starting to bite at the edges of the horizon. Standing right beside Donar is his brother Fro, the god of spring. And Fro is terrified. He's trembling, whispering that the light is fading, that the glorious rainbow bridge they built to enter Valhalla is actually splintering under this massive, unseen weight. A creeping black fog is rolling in fast. But Donar refuses to even look at his trembling brother. He loathes this quiet, agonizing death. So we finally arrive at the ultimate confrontation. The air is just thick with deceit as the thunder god corners Wotan in the crumbling halls. You can almost hear Wotan weakly protesting, clinging to his runes, saying, "Peace, Donar, the treaties hold, the laws bind them still." But Donar, he is absolutely refusing to let the gods fade out while relying on broken paper. He stares down the leader of the gods with pure contempt and delivers this brutal assessment. Wotan may waver, weighed down by bonds. Laj may leap in laughing betrayal. Donar is directly attacking Wotan's whole concept of cosmic balance right here. He's calling out Wotan's wavering weakness, pointing out how he's weighed down by his own diplomatic treaties, and openly mocking the inevitable treachery of Laj, the trickster god of fire. And he doesn't stop there. Imagine Donar stepping forward, his voice literally shaking the stones beneath their boots. He's towering over the so-called Allfather, completely dismantling the illusion of Wotan's authority with the splintered spear parable. Silent the spear shaft, shattered the signs. Law is but lies, loose is the light. Bonds are but brittle, broken by blows. This is where the phonetic impact really hits home, and it's the absolute core of Wagner's genius. That repeating W, waver, wade, it audibly sags, right? It emphasizes Wotan's weakness perfectly. Them, the hissing S and Shaw sounds, silent, spear shaft, shattered, signs. They sound exactly like the fracturing of those illusions and lies. And finally, those brutal B consonants, bonds, brittle, broken, blows. They hit your ear like actual physical hammer strikes, smashing those fragile treaties to dust. At this point, the tension reaches its absolute breaking point. Urda, the earth goddess and prophetess, has already warned them. The end is inevitable. Valhalla will burn. The cosmic balance fully tips as the shadows gather in the grand sky hall. And outside, the giants are rumbling in the east, marching steadily toward the weakened gods. Donar watches them approach and speaks the giant's gate parable. Grinding the giants, grim is their gate. Mountains are moving, mired in mist. Fierce is the fire, fearless the foe. Seriously, try saying that out loud. That heavy, grinding rhythm perfectly captures the terrifying, relentless march of the apocalypse. It literally sounds like mountains are dragging themselves toward Valhalla. So now, Donar has a choice. He can either let the Nibelung venom and the giants slowly choke the gods out of existence, or he can take matters into his own hands. The storm god grips the ancient stone, raising his massive hammer high into the gathering, venomous gloom. He is readying the cleansing strike. And he screams his absolute defiance right into the void, his voice completely blending with the thunder. Let the hall shake, let the treacherous burn. If Valhalla must fall, we will smash the foundations ourselves. He completely refuses the quiet decay. He's taking full ownership of the end of the world. As the weapon tears through the heavy air and ignites the sulphurous clouds, he delivers the thunder's truth parable. Truth is the thunder, tearing the tomb, shatter the shadows, shake the sky hall, killing the cold, kingly the crash. This isn't just dialogue anymore. It is a full-blown incantation of pure destruction. Look at how the Stabrime operates in this final climactic moment. The sharp T sounds, truth, thunder, tearing, tomb, they literally crack in the mouth like tearing blue-white lightning. And those crushing K sounds, killing, cold, kingly, crash, they deliver the sonic equivalent of absolute, unyielding destruction. The poetry itself becomes the storm. 1. That is all it takes. Just one final, desperate blow against the mountain crag to end the world of deceit once and for all. One massive swing of the hammer to shatter the endless, agonizing compromises and finally bring forth the truth. The hammer strikes. A flash of blinding blue-white lightning rips across the heavens, literally splitting the darkness in two. For a brief, glorious moment, the vast, tragic canvas of the entire world is illuminated in a display of absolute, untamed power. And then, the dark claims it all. Götterdämmerung is complete. So, as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with one final, provocative thought. It's the very core of Dorner's grim fable. When the foundations of your own world, whether that's a project, an institution, or even a belief system, when they start to rot with deceit, how do you face it? Are you going to accept a slow, silent decay all wrapped up in compromises? Or will you swing the hammer, face the storm, and demand a kingly crash of truth? Definitely something to think about. Until next time, keep exploring the powerful stories that shape our world.